Hey, how you doing? Here's my challenge to myself this weekend. Here's a kind of a meditation devotion thing I've been working on for a week or so. It comes from a guy named Tom Wright. It's on the Luke 6:27 through 38 passage about loving your enemies. And this is what he says. I give you something to think about. The kingdom that Jesus preached and lived was all about a glorious, uproarious, absurd generosity. Think of the best thing you can do for the worst person and go ahead and do it. Think of what you'd really like someone to do for you and do it for them. Think of the people to whom you are tempted to be nasty and lavish generosity on them instead. These instructions have a fresh, spring-like quality. They're all about new life bursting out energetically, like flowers growing through concrete and startling everyone with their color and vigor. But are they possible? That's a question I see a lot with this passage and what some call the Beatitudes. Right? Is it possible, this kind of thing? Loving your enemies, right? Well, yes and no, Tom Wright says. Jesus' point was not to provide his followers with a new rule book, a list of do's and don'ts that you tick off one at a time, and you sit back satisfied at the end of a successful moral day. The point was to inculcate, which means to, I guess, get something in your head and your heart by repeated teaching, right? To illustrate an attitude of heart, a lightness of spirit in the face of all that the world can throw at you. And the world's throwing a whole lot at us right now, I think. And at the center of it is the thing that motivates and gives color to the whole. You are to be like this because that's what God is like. Wow. We're supposed to be full of love and grace and mercy and forgiveness because that's the way God is, and that's the way he loves us. God is generous to all people, generous in the eyes of the stingy to a fault. He provides good things for all to enjoy, the undeserving as well as the deserving. He is astonishingly merciful, and anyone who knows their own heart truly and still goes on experiencing God's grace and love will agree with this, right? If I take a good look and know my own heart truly and reflecting in life, I can see where I need that kind of grace. That kind of grace and love, that's for sure. How can we, his forgiven children, be any less? Only when people discover that this is the sort of God they are dealing with will they have any chance of making this way of life their own. In fact, this list of instructions is all about which God you believe in and about the way of life that follows as a result. We must admit with shame that large sections of Christianity down the years seem to have known little or nothing of the God Jesus was talking about. Much that has called itself by the name of Jesus seems to have believed instead, hear this, in a gloomy God, a penny-pinching God, a God whose only concern is to make life difficult and salvation nearly impossible. But by the same token, this passage gives the lie to the old idea, which was around in Jesus' day as well as our own, that all religions are really just the same, and that all gods are really variations on the same theme. No, you see, this God is different. If you lived in a society where everyone believed in this God, there wouldn't be any violence. There wouldn't be any revenge. There wouldn't be any divisions of class or caste. Property and possessions wouldn't be nearly as important as making sure your neighbor was all right. Imagine if even a few people around you took Jesus seriously and lived like that. Life would be exuberant, different, astonishing, and people would stare. Yeah, that's been sticking with me for the week, and it'll probably stick with me for, a lot longer than that, about how generous am I with my love. Do I treat other people the way that I want to be treated? Do I have the kind of mercy for others, even those that I would be tempted to be nasty towards, right? If it was just me, do I carry the same kind of generous love of a generous God to others and everybody I meet? So that's heavy stuff. I'll see you around. You take care. God bless you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye.